For decades, one green piece of paper ruled the world, the US dollar. It powered global trade, decided oil prices, and even determined which countries could survive financially. But now, a new challenger is rising quietly from the east. China wants a world where the dollar doesn't decide everything. And step by step, it's making that world real. After World War II, the dollar became the world's main currency. The famous Bretton Woods Agreement made the dollar king, backed by gold and used in almost every trade. Even after the gold standard ended in the 1970s, trust in America kept the dollar alive. Today, almost 90% of global trade involves the US dollar. That gives America a hidden superpower, control through finance. Whenever a country goes against the US, from Iran to Russia, Washington uses the dollar as a weapon. It freezes assets, blocks banks, bans dollar-based transactions. And because the global banking system is tied to the US, those sanctions actually work. China watched all this and started planning quietly. Beijing realized something. If the US can cut off any nation from the dollar, it can do the same to China, anytime. So, China started asking a bold question. What if the world had another system, one that the US couldn't control? That question became China's long-term financial mission. In 2015, China launched CIPS, the Cross-Border Interbank Payment System. It works like SWIFT, but it's controlled by Beijing. Now, over 1,400 banks from 100-plus countries are linked to it. Slowly, CIPS is becoming an alternative channel for global trade, especially for countries under US pressure. China began signing trade deals directly in yuan instead of dollars. Russia, Brazil, Pakistan, and even France have traded using the Chinese currency. In 2023, the yuan became the most traded currency in Russia, overtaking the dollar. Each new trade deal makes the yuan stronger and more trusted internationally. Then came BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Together, they make up 40% of the world's population and nearly 1/3 of global GDP. Now, they're planning to launch a shared payment system. Some even call it a BRICS currency. If this succeeds, it could challenge the dollar's monopoly for the first time in history. Saudi Arabia recently joined BRICS plus talks. That's massive because oil trade is the backbone of the dollar system. If even a small part of global oil is sold in yuan, it's the beginning of a financial revolution. Experts call it de-dollarization, a slow shift toward a world of multiple currencies. The US isn't staying silent. It's reinforcing alliances through the G7 and IMF, and investing in new trade routes to rival China's Belt and Road. But the challenge is about trust, not just power. And slowly, countries are realizing they have options. Will the yuan replace the dollar? Probably not soon. The dollar is still far more trusted, transparent, and liquid. But China doesn't need full replacement, it just needs freedom. A world where the US can't use money as a weapon. And that's exactly where we're headed. The New World War isn't about armies. It's about economics, technology, and currency control. China's challenge to the dollar has just begun. If you like this breakdown, hit subscribe and join ExplainiaHub, where we turn global complexity into simple understanding.